right, everybody. Welcome to the Assassin's Creed Pregame Draft Podcast. I'm your host, Mason Harrell. We're here with part of the production team of Season 6. We decided to keep it limited to 3 people since it was better for a draft format. More than likely, we'll have a podcast after the game with a roundtable of all the producers and potentially even some of the people that made it deep into the game, like the winner, the runner-up, etc. For now, we're going to introduce the rest of the production team that's here with us tonight. First, we have the creator of Survivor Durant, Cheston Smith.
What up, bitch?
Next, we have previous winner, Season 5 winner, Nate Hodson.
I am the ultimate survivor.
He is. I mean, unanimous win. He gets to say it for now. Maybe one of you listening has beaten him by now. Anyways, we're going to go into a summary real quick of what we're going to do tonight. So, first off tonight, we're going to kind of give a background of the season. Cheston's going to talk to us a little bit about what his initial idea of this season looked like and how it fully came to be. And then we're going to do a draft. So, you guys won't hear this until after the game, so this will be more of a seeing if our predictions were right. We're going to summarize the players that we pick, talk about their strengths and weaknesses, and see who won. Nate was the 5th pick last year, and he won the game, so you don't necessarily have to be the 1st or 2nd pick to do well in this game. And a reminder to everyone, we are picking based off of this season and this season alone. If we pick you low, it is not because we fully doubt your abilities. It might be just because this season isn't necessarily fit for you. So every season's different. Anybody can win any season. So, you never know. The person we pick dead last might win. And that's just the nature of these drafts. But let's go ahead and move on. And we're going to let Cheston kind of talk about Assassin's Creed as a concept and how it came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. When you design these games for me, I want it to be something original, never been done before. There are so many survivors out there across the nation that are fan-made like this one. A lot of different unique ideas and twists. And for me, I preach creativity. It has to be something never done before, never seen before. And for me, the founding block of creating and starting a Survivor game is, what is the core theme? And this time we focused on loyalty. What can we do to sway the contestants' loyalty? And in this essence, we're going to be testing and tempting people's loyalty to their other partners through advantages. Would you be willing to backstab your closest ally if the perk was high enough? Last year we focused on paranoia with Mystery Island and what is going to be coming up next. This time we want to test the waters of how can we influence players to take their own path instead of taking a group's path.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like a lot of players last year, especially the more inexperienced ones, they didn't really have much of an idea of how to take their own path. Like, they could see that they were on the bottom, but they didn't know how to get out from underneath it. So maybe the advantages and the way this season works might kind of urge some of those players to kind of get out from underneath that.
Yeah, that's what I'm so excited about, is this year's game is also fans versus favorites. So I always say you play your best Survivor game your second time. So we have people that have already known what to expect, how they messed up the first time, and so they're coming in for a second chance. And I think that these are the people that's going to take advantage of this twist the most, to prove that they aren't this pushover player of maybe where they came up short last time. They're going to take the most advantage of this twist. Then you have the fans. They have something to prove. It's been marketed that this is everyone's last chance to really prove that they have what it takes to get into next year's giant game. And so I'm really excited for the cast that we have to go over here in just a second. And I think that this could be one of the most competitive games that we've had.
Mm-hmm. Anything to add to that, Nate?
No, I think that was summed up well. I guess just for my part, I'm excited to be here, excited to be a part of this. this was really enjoyable for me last time. Hearing these podcasts after the game, and so it's cool to be able to actually contribute to that this year. And I'm glad you had me on. I'm ready to get into it. So.
All right, I think we've talked about that enough. Here's what you guys came for, is the draft, and to hear what we actually think about you guys playing. So just a couple prefaces on this draft. We've already randomized the order. It's going to be me, Cheston, and then Nate, and it's going to be snake draft, so it will snake back. We've got 15 people to pick. As you guys know, after playing the season already, there were only 14 people in the game. We decided to have 15 because there were a couple of people that we weren't sure about, and to make it a good number for 3 people drafting. So at least one of these people will not be in the game. More than likely, more than one of them won't be in the game due to cancellations and different things like that. But we're still going to give our thoughts on all of them, since most of these people will probably be playing the game. I'm going to go ahead and get us started, and I think someone would be very, very upset at me if my first pick was not my fiancée, Melissa Taylor. What a surprise.
I can't believe it.
So Melissa, her former games was last season. She got 6th, I believe. Was that correct? Or fifth.
Actually.
Yeah, because Maddie went before her. Mm-hmm. She was safe at the final 6. Mm-hmm. So Melissa got 5th. She was the last girl standing against the boys, against the final 4 group of boys that Nate led to the end. And she had the potential to win out, really. She was really good at the challenges, and I think she's still going to be good at the challenges. I don't doubt her challenge prowess at all. I think she learned a lot from the social aspect of the game. I think she was one of the people that she always knew where she was in the game, but didn't necessarily know how to advance herself in the game, because she's not familiar with Survivor or really any other kind of strategy game. At least she wasn't before last season.
Which is crazy to think about, because she's such a natural at something like this.
I think she reads people really well naturally. I think that was most of what it is. That and just being naturally good at challenges too.
I think that Melissa is a fantastic competitor as well. She always did great in the challenges. She fought her way back into the game. I think she won the most individual immunity challenges last year.
Possibly.
For a single competitor.
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah.
3 maybe.
So that was great. And she's going to be on the same tribe as Abby and Ryan. Ryan never losing an individual immunity challenge. This, I think, is going to be a fierce women's game. Mm-hmm. A lot of competitive women. And Melissa, definitely in my top 3 as well, is a good pick there for you for sure.
And I'm going to add something here. And this is something I don't know that I've heard you two even discuss. And I don't know. I think this kind of went under the radar that I'm going to give her credit for. For those that were familiar with season 5, I did in the weird 2-person eviction tribal council, not eviction, that's Big Brother, but 2-person tribal council. I was voted off along with Abby. I think I stepped back into the game, but Melissa was actually the swing vote to get me out of the game, and she did have the guts at that point in time to taking me out when we were not super closely aligned, but we were technically aligned. So she already has that kind of gumption for this game of knowing, that loyalty in certain situations only gets you so far. And so I'm going to give her a lot of credit for that there. And I think that this game model actually is probably even a better build for her than last season's game model as well. So I have that going for her as well.
I agree with that. And I also think Melissa is an excellent pick because of the tribe that she's starting out on. I think that it's highly likely that Abby or Ronnie could be the first boot of this season, and Melissa's going to kind of cruise through that because these are 2 bigger personalities or targets, and she's just going to slide under the radar, even though she should have just as much of a target as them. Mm-hmm. She has proven that she is just an equally as good player. So I think that's a great pick for you for sure.
Yeah. She, as far as what you were talking about, Nate, we haven't discussed that. I know at that tribal, right before that tribal, Abby came up to her and asked her if she needed to play her idol or not. And Melissa, knowing that Abby was getting targeted at that tribal, told her no.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know like how much. You know that like I think that they might try to work together, Melissa and Abby, but I'm more impressed that that she did that, and especially if she actually did consciously like know that she was the swing vote on your vote, then that was one of her best, probably her best tribal council
I agree.
of last season. Then,
And I want to hear y'all's opinions on this before I forget to ask this. This is something we should probably do towards the end, but F it, What is y'all's predictions of what's going to happen to the original favorite tribe dynamic between Abby, Melissa, and Ronnie? I am so excited to watch that play out. What is y'all's take on what's going to happen? Because they all three don't really trust each other, but they need each other. What's going to happen?
I will say right now that Ronnie will, to their face, not say this, but within his game, tell them to kick rocks, and he will work with Ryan right off the bat.
yeah, I think so too. He'll definitely work with Ryan.
Do you think that we could see an all women's alliance on this team?
Well, the women would be Abby, May, and Ryan. I mean, that would be a strong-ass women's alliance. Like, if there was ever one to work, it would be that one.
I think what we see with this tribe early on is we see Abby, Melissa, Ryan, and Dingler work together.
I could
Personally,
totally
that is
see
what
that.
I see happen.
And I could even see Jimmy getting involved with that because Abby and Jimmy are kind of acquainted. JJ's kind of on the outs right there. Ronnie's kind of on the outs, but Ronnie's a social enough guy to make sure that he's not the first boot.
Correct.
Yeah.
With that, I guess we should get on to...
Well, let's circle back right quick to Melissa and kind of talk about weakness.
Fine. More Melissa.
Well, we obviously she's the first pick, so we got to hype her up. But we need to talk about weaknesses on each of these picks too.
Yeah. Go ahead, dish your girl. Go.
I know. I'm just. I'm sorry. I love you, May. Melissa's biggest weakness is definitely going to be lack of experience. Even with last season, we still have not watched like a season of Survivor together. Like she hasn't watched all the way through. She doesn't know like high level techniques. I think that she is really natural at like just playing, on probably that like level 2, but the people that are like familiar with Survivor are going to know how to play around her just like they did last season, just like you and Ronnie did with her.
I think that's fair up to a point, but you're not giving her enough credit because she does technically have more Survivor experience than half the cast.
That's true. Yeah, I agree there. And I'm not worried about her in the early game at all. Don't get me wrong there. I really think Melissa probably has, probably out of everyone on this list, has the easiest chance of making merge. I don't think she's getting targeted early at all. And I think her struggles are going to be around where they were last season, Final 7, Final 6. I think if she can get past that, if she can get into that like Final 4, I think she might have the game locked up.
Yeah. So what I will say, where I think that she may see struggle, is going to be, so there's certain players. This is something interesting that like I've kind of deduced from my times playing with different people and everything, is there are some players that I feel like we've seen three kind of personality types, and one like pretty distinct like personality type is the players that just are aggressive. Like for example, like someone we've seen in the past, like Dylan Lemons, that like if you're just in his corner, he's just gonna go kill you.
Yeah, that's
exactly
the mafioso.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for example, I see on her opening tribe, I see Justin Jefferson being that guy. I see if the circumstance calls for, I see Thomas Dingler being that guy. Later on in the game, there's any crossover with the fans, I see Allie and potentially, from what we all said, Thomas Olive being that person, that could corner her and make things very difficult for her if something happens. And so I think if she gets in those situations, she might be in trouble. But if she can, steer past that and work her way around people like that, I think she'll be fine. So
I think that you guys have overlooked May's biggest weakness. I think, honestly and truly, Melissa's biggest weakness is her lack of self-confidence. She doesn't think that she's this great player, and she freaking is. She's like, at the reindeer game, she's like, I don't know why you guys keep hyping me up or whatever. I don't know what y'all are talking about. And she's a natural. If she would just believe in herself and really know and believe that she has these natural instincts and natural talents that is needed for Survivor that you cannot teach, if she just taps into that, she can roll with it. Mm-hmm. That's all she has to do. When I look at Melissa, I look at the first time that Nate played Survivor, and he was just like, I don't know, like a child with a ball, like having fun or whatever. But then he realized, he's like, I think I could do this. And he took his ball and he ran with it for a touchdown. Melissa could do that too. She just has to believe in herself.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let's move on to the second pick, Justin.
So I thought about this long and hard, and my first draft pick is going to be someone that I think... I still don't know who my first draft pick is. I'm not going to lie. Because... Okay, I do. I ain't going to be... Listen, I would be a bad bro if I didn't pick Tyler. But I really think that there's one person that is just set up better than anyone else, that is a dark horse candidate to win this game, that people are just going to overlook and they're going to slide all the way to the end. I have personally ran several different scenarios, like what happens if there's all guys alliance, all girls alliance, what happens if this, what happens with that. And in every single scenario, I found a lot of people that made top 7, but I found one person in almost every single scenario make top 5, and is usually the swing vote in top 5. And so my dark horse number 1 draft pick is Thomas Olive. That is going to be my draft pick. Because he's connected with Abby, he's connected with Sam, whoever Sam's friend is, he's going to be good there. He's connected with Jimmy. He has a lot of connections. He's going to be good with any girls that he comes in contact with. There's going to be several different strong women alliances there. He's great socially from what I've heard and from what I've seen as well. I don't think that he's going to be the first boot on the fans tribe at all. And he'll easily make it to the swap, which the odds of him being on a swap tribe where he has people that he knows is great, so he's not going to get the boot there. He makes it to merge. So, and at that point, he's not perceived as this huge threat because there's so many physical threats. You have Allie, you have Tyler, you have Ronnie, you have Abby, you have Melissa, you have Ryan, the comp beast. There's so many other people that you're going to want to take out when merge happens that Thomas is just going to slide through. And so I would be really shocked if Thomas doesn't make top 5. And for those reasons, he is my number 1 draft pick.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a good pick. I've met him one time, talked with him a couple times on Messenger, and he seems like somebody that, is going to probably try to genuinely get to know everybody and have good relationships with them. The one time I met him, we played Magic, and he aggroed me the whole game. So maybe that was just something fun for Magic, and maybe he won't be like that with Survivor. But I do worry about if he gets his sights set on a player in particular, and then gets so tunnel visioned on that one player that he might not see what's coming if somebody sets something up on him. But I don't see him having problems early unless he's just not performing in challenges and it's clear that he's the one holding people back. But I don't see that happening either, really. I
agree with that. And I think the bad thing about me picking Thomas is I don't know him. I hung out with him for 2 hours one time playing Magic. Mm-hmm. But just statistically and on paper, he is set up the best. And compared to all these other players, in my opinion, he's going to slide on through. And I know we're going to get some hate in the comments below. Sorry, Tyler. I told you that you were my pick to win, but then I did all these scenarios, and listen, I'm not losing a second draft pick in a row, dude, so that's just how it goes.
I'll just keep mine brief because I really don't know the guy well at all. I don't actually know if I've ever spoken to the guy, to be frank. But, I do think I think he is connected well. My only fear for him at this point would be, potentially just depending on what group of allies form together and knock people off, he could be bereft of friends pretty quick, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is a bad thing if you're a new player a lot of times. So that'd be my only, just new player and inexperience.
And experience obviously makes a big deal, right? Like you look at the last two winners, us two sitting here, we were probably in each of those games, we were the most experienced person in that respective game with LRGs. So, Thomas may not have the experience to get through, but you never know. Somebody could be a diamond in the rough and have what it takes.
I think that the winner is going to be from the fan side. I'm calling it now. I think that 9 times out of 10, these favorites are going to eat each other. Mm-hmm. They're going to gun for each other. But the fans are going to stick together. Yeah. And when merge happens, maybe a big name favorite like Ronnie or Abby or a big shot caller like, Ryan gets together with the majority of the fans. Like, I can see Allie, Thomas, Tyler, and Gabe sticking together, making like this core athletic group. And then a fave comes in like Ryan trying to be like, hey, let me scoop you under. We just ping out all of the favorites. And then they're like, oh, Ryan, you're next too. So we have like all of the fans after merge going deep into the game. I just cannot see the fans eating each other after merge, but I see that every time on the faves because they are so competitive and bitter. They don't even trust each other now. Why would they trust each other going to the merge? They're going to try to link up with these fans. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I thought about in picking Thomas is looking at specifically Jacobs's game and Nate's game, the two most dominant winners that we've had in Durant. What did they do? They were able to be socially aware and navigate when they needed to make alliances and change alliances. Jacobs in particular, he
had a final two with everyone.
And he didn't have a final two with everyone all the time. He made the final two when he needed to. He noticed that Ryan kept winning challenges, and he said, what will happen if Ryan keeps winning challenges? My ass is out. So what did he do? He made a final two with Ryan, and Ryan stuck to that because he was the only one that made a deal with her, and he made it to the end and he won. So he thought of it. And I think that that's exactly what Thomas has the capability to do, is to be socially aware of when he needs to make connections to survive and last another round. And so that's all I got to say about that, dude. Mm-hmm. Don't know you. Good luck to you, man. Do me proud, okay? I got a lot riding on this. That's about it.
All right, Nate, take us into your first pick.
Man, I'm very happy that this player is on the board. I think this game is built for this player, and I am kind of erring on the opposite side, and I am taking experience here. And you'll probably know who I'm picking. It starts with an R and ends with an I-N, so it's Ryan, for those of you that don't know phonics. So I think, I've played with one game with Ryan, and then I have co-hosted another game with Ryan as a player.
You've played 2 games with Ryan. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A Survivor 3 and Big Brother 1.
I did play Big
Mm-hmm.
Survivor and Strip Poker. Those are
no, that's right. I'm sorry, you're right. And Big Brother 1. Excuse me. And she is, and not even really close as far as the Durant, I guess what are we calling them, LRGs?
LRG.
As far as Durant LRGs, I think statistically she has been the most dominant comp beast we've seen or had.
Ever.
Not close, really. It's not really close at all. And
there's no one that's even.
It's weird how good she is. It's
and she's by far the most experienced player playing this game. She has played in 3 LRGs, which is something that no one else on this has even done 2, right?
Right, this will be
Dingler's done 2, I believe.
Dingler. Okay. So Dingler's played in a Survivor and Big Brother, but
and
still,
JJ's done 2. JJ was in Survivor 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah. So you see there, we got 3 people that have even played more than 1, and Ryan's played 3.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of experience.
Yeah, and specifically with Ryan, there's 2 big things that I think she has going for her that she's never had before. First of all was the evolution of her game between
Yes.
Survivor 3 and I would say, I'm not going to count Big Brother 1, but the Big Brother 2.
Yes, I agree.
She showed that she has the range to dominate you in comps, and she also shows that she has the range to dominate socially, which season 3 of Survivor, that was not existent. That was ultimately the reason that she lost, is because she really didn't have a social presence. She won her way to the end, which is, honestly, she should have won on paper, it seems, but, it's all to the objective of the voters.
To people that don't know, Ryan won every single individual immunity competition in Survivor Season 3.
She did?
Yes.
Oh, wait, I was there. Yeah, I remember.
And then, but my second thing I'll have going for Ryan is I do feel like she, in both times, so she got to the final 2 in Season 3 of Survivor, lost to Jacobs. She got to the...
By one vote.
By one vote.
The ultimate social game versus the ultimate physical game.
Correct. And then she also got to the final 2 in Big Brother Season 2 and lost there. And I think there could
6-3 was the vote for that.
And I think there could be an argument in both sides that there was some very personal voters in both instances that you could argue lost her both games. And there was just weird personal connections within and outside of the game. And in this game, most of these people haven't played, even though she's played a good amount of games, most of these people haven't played with Ryan. There's only Allie, which I don't know. I definitely don't think she's going to turn on Ryan early on. That's the only person she really has. And then Dingler, which I think would be her only threat early in game. And the thing about Ryan is the longer that you leave her in, you're just asking for trouble. She's just one of those players. The longer you leave her, she just gets worse for your game.
Yeah.
So that's my pick. I'm glad y'all left her for me. Y'all can continue any thoughts y'all want.
I agree with your thoughts on Ryan. Like there's one thing I disagree with, which I'll get to in a second. But most everything you said, I agree with because she has the experience. She has the competitive edge. She has the social game. Like she has it all except one thing: the ability to close the game. Because twice now we have seen her in a situation where she should have won the game. And due to her ability during jury questioning not being that good, she lost. And this was what I was going to disagree with you on Big Brother 2, where you said that she arguably could have lost that one due to personal connections. I disagree with that because prior to that jury questioning Ryan and Jesse, if you'll remember, they didn't even want to vote because they were all so tired and just ready to go home. And they all just wanted to vote for Ryan. And we had to take them into that room and tell them, hey, you owe it to them to question them and see who has the best game. And we had 9 jurors that season, and we asked who all wants to vote for Ryan right now. And 8 people raised their hands. After the jury questioning happened, the vote was 6-3 against Ryan. So how many is that? 5 people changed their vote on Ryan after questioning them at jury phase. Now, whether that was lack of ability on Ryan's part or a lot of ability on Jesse's part, it's probably a combination of both. Maybe he just did a better job of convincing them. But I'm worried about that with Ryan this time. Do I think she's learned from it? I do. So I think she has a better chance than those 2. And I definitely think she has a chance to go all the way to the end. Not doubting that at all. I just somewhat still doubt her ability to close the game during jury questioning.
I have to say that Ryan is easily, without question, the person that I'm most looking forward to playing this game. She's someone that I've tried for a long time to come back and play this game. I asked her to come back and play 4, asked her to come back and play 5, and we finally got her. And I'm so thankful that she is going to be participating again. And I also really do have high hopes for her. But I just don't foresee it going that way. I personally foresee the favorites tribe collapsing on itself. But Ryan for sure is a huge competitor, and I think that's what's going to put a target on her.
Mm-hmm. Something to talk about that I kind of missed a while ago, but I meant to bring up is Nate talked about her first game. It was mainly just the perfect physical game. Well, during Big Brother 2, she had just fractured her foot, I believe, or her
Mm-hmm.
ankle. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she won 1 or 2 comps during that season, but she definitely couldn't compete as well in the physical comps like she did in Survivor. And that was where her social game really shined. Like, she was pretty much good with everyone the entire game. She had a secret Final 2 with Jesse that no one knew about until they were sitting in the Final 2. So her evolution as a player has definitely come a long way, and I hope to see her continue to evolve and maybe make it to the end of the game and win it.
Round out the last part of her game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't know that much about her Big Brother game, but now hearing it, I'm even more excited to watch her play, watch her do her thing. I'll definitely be rooting for her, but I personally don't foresee it going that way, but I wish her the best.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think we're good on that one. So, Nate, you now have your second pick, 4th pick total. Swing it back the other way.
This one is very hard at this point. I can see it's going to kind of depend on how the direction breaks. And this might be met with criticism. I think there's a lot of thoughts about this player, just kind of based on last season that I think this player will evolve, and I am going to take Ronnie here. I really am. I'm going to do it. So the thing about Ronnie is he was in his first time playing last season, and did make it to the Final 2. Which is, overall it's impressive in and of itself. But the thing about it is, I think there's times that we don't credit enough how quick of a learner he is, how quick he grasps onto things, how quick he's able to adapt. And at the end of last season, he pretty much played a very safe game through and through. And it was just a very safe game. That's just what it was. It was a great game, but it was safe. And how he saw it, and again, this was partially, kind of my design, is he saw that, within our alliance, Dustin was the one that was making the loud moves, the bold moves, the flamboyant moves. And so he thought his greatest adversary to beat him at the end of the game was Dustin. And he didn't realize that while that circus was going on, I was making moves in the background. At the end of the game, he was like, wow, I didn't realize that was even happening. Like, he didn't realize that until we got to the jury. Whenever the jury was like, we saw these moves, this was crazy. He's like, whoa, I didn't even see that. And I think that's in the back of his head. I think now he understands that every player is a threat, and that you do have to, have something for players to remember you by. He played a very clean game. I think he almost played a flawless game last go around. But flawless games don't always win. It's the big moves that, build the resumes that help you get the win. I think he's seen that, and I think, like I said, going on, I think him and Ryan, I think there's a good chance they bond early. And if they figure things out and play things right, that's a terrifying combo for anybody in this game. That's an absolute horrifying combo. So I'm putting chips on him. I think it's a good chance that he comes out victorious this go around. And also, there's not really a whole lot of player 5s returning. Season 5s. There's 3 season 5s returning. So really only 3 I've seen him play. And if he can maneuver around that, I guess technically Jimmy watched him play, so I guess 4 because Jimmy did watch season 5. But I think if he can, maneuver through those and outlast, I think it's kind of the same reasoning you gave Maylisa. I think him or Maylisa is going to hit that role. Whichever one plays the game right, one of them is going to hit that role, and one of them is going to take off and make it Final 4 at least.
Yeah, they play very similar game styles. I do think Ronnie has more confidence in himself than Maylisa does, like Cheston talked about. But they fill a similar role in the game, and Ronnie's great at the game. There's a reason he was my winner pick last season. Mm-hmm. He was my first pick of the draft. And so I was proud to see him go to the Final 2. He found, I think, 2 idols. They weren't able to be, or was it 3?
I think he might have even found 3.
Yeah, he found a lot of idols. They never really got to be played in like a correct fashion, I don't think.
And on top of that, I think he won 2 or 3 comps as well.
Yeah.
Like, it was him or Lisa for the most comp win last year. It was one of those two.
Yeah. I mean, it was a clean game. Like you said, there weren't... And that's the thing. I don't necessarily think you have to have a bunch of big moves. I think it depends on the jury. Sometimes that's what a jury is looking for, but you hear this all the time with Survivor. Big moves, big moves. Well, sometimes if you're trying to make big moves too early, you get screwed. I've done that before. And that's definitely something that Ronnie doesn't need to worry about in the early game. I think it's something that once he hits merge, he can do some different stuff, than what he did last time. It seemed obvious to me and Cheston from the outside that if he went with you to the end of the game, that you were going to beat him easy. And I think he has to be aware enough that whoever he takes to the end, he needs to be able to beat. And he doesn't just need to barely be able to beat them. He needs to be able to, sweep them.
I agree with you 100%. I think that Ronnie is a fast learner, and he knows what he needs to do differently this time. I just don't personally believe that he'll get a chance to do anything. Mm-hmm. I think that Ronnie or Abby will be the first boot of the favorite tribe. There's a possibility that someone like Dingler or JJ will be the first boot if they work together, but then the next round Abby or Ronnie goes. I just don't see it happening like that personally. And I think that that's fresh, that we have different points of view on this topic. Mason, you and Nate think that the favorites are going to sweep the game. So I think it's fresh that we have, my take on it, which is I think the fans are going to sweep the game. So we have both points of views there.
I don't even necessarily think the faves are going to sweep. I just think the 3 that have gotten picked so far are really strong.
Oh, for sure. But I think that's what's also going to be their downfall. It's you see it all the time. It's these strong players, they don't get a chance to play. When they could be used as shields, when they deserve a chance to redeem themselves, it's just that reputation that comes with it. And I think that there is a high chance that Ronnie has a possibility of getting voted out pre-merge. And the same goes for several different favorites for that reason. But the same coin, they have to lose a challenge to get voted out.
True.
Again, the swap could happen to throw a wrench with all that shit. But I digress. Ronnie, without a doubt, is bred for this game. Is a fantastic player and played a flawless game already. Can do it again. Will play an even better game. I always say you play your best game the second time you play. But I just don't believe that he's going to get a chance to, which sucks for him. If he was playing against more non-returning people, maybe if Abby wasn't there and Melissa wasn't there, this could be Ronnie's game. But they're there, and they remember what happened, and there's a big sour taste there. So, sucks for Ronnie.
I think we're ready to move on.
Fine, let's move on. I would be a bad bro if I didn't pick my number 2 pick to be Abby Spalla. Because no, I'm just kidding. It's Tyler, obviously.
That's who my next pick was going to be.
Well, it's mine.
If you left him open.
Tyler was always in my top 3 with Melissa and Thomas Olive. I think Tyler's the total package as far as a Survivor player goes. He is strategic. He is competitive, athletic, and has great social game. However, it's super obvious, and people are going to see that and get him out. We have this typical, stereotypical, perfectly bred person to play Survivor. Let's just get him out, right? How do you not hide that? You have to be pretty damn good to hide that. And this is his first game, so I don't know if he can hide all that. When it gets down to it, there are several other players that he could say, I'm not a threat, they are, and sort of throw them under the bus and use them as shields, even if it's indirectly. Typically when we think of shields, a shield is someone that you work with in order for them to keep you safe. He can not have to work with these people to still have them as shields. So if merge happens and Ronnie or Abby is still there, he could be like, yo, these bitches have already played this game before. Ronnie got number 2. Abby did all that sort of shit last time. Let's just get them out. I think that he could easily throw people in front of him and keep his ass in the game and make a Hail Mary for the end. That's what I think is going to happen. One of these fans is going to win. It's either going to be Tyler or Thomas or the next person I'm about to pick. That's all I got to say about it.
Real quick, this is where I see Tyler's game this go around. Is I see him definitely being a top 5. I don't know if I see him closing. That's my only thing. I think he will do well on the fan tribe. I think the big thing about him is I really see him being kind of the Dustin Barnett role in this season, being the guy that makes big moves, that makes impressive moves, is very aggressive, and makes it well, but he's going to, I think, surround himself with a strong power that I think will initially, it'll eventually not be in his favor anymore.
I agree with that to an extent. I don't think he'll be as verbal as Dustin Barnett because I don't think it's possible to be as verbal as Dustin Barnett. I do foresee a huge power alliance blossoming from the fans tribe. I really, really, really think Tyler and Allie are going to hit it off. They're going to be like, you're super fit, I'm super fit, you're good at challenges, I'm super good at challenges, you're smart, I'm smart, let's run this whole show, blah, blah, blah. Swap happens because the favorites hardly ever lose because they have Ryan. Ryan joins the party, maybe Ronnie joins the party, and then, boom, there's Final 5, there's Tyler right there.
All right. My thoughts on Tyler. I think he's a well-rounded person to play the game for sure. I think that's, like you said, going to be his biggest downfall is that it's obvious. It's one of those things from the moment that I saw Tyler, I'm like, okay, he's going to be a target because he seems the most suited, at least on the exterior. I don't think he's actually the most suited, but I think he's the one that appears to be.
He definitely is for the motherfucking fans. Tell me he ain't. Well, okay, I'll tell you he ain't. There's one other person.
So moving on to, I've got 2 picks coming up now. I want to preface this by saying, out of the fans that are left, I've never met 4 of them. So it's really hard for me to pick a fan right now as much as I want to, because there's just 4 of these people that I have no idea anything about them other than what Cheston's told me. So
Which wasn't good shit.
So I think my next pick, I'll go 1-1, but I'm gonna pick from the faves first.
No, you're gonna pick my pick.
I'm gonna pick.
No.
It's kind of I think these next 2 picks are both super dark horse, but there's a chance that they close. I'm gonna pick Abby Spalla.
God damn it! No! Yeah, you sure did. You stole it.
So my thoughts on Abby, I think she has a lot of qualities about her that are intuitive to the game. Her competitive spirit is no doubt there. She might be the most competitive person in the cast. Well, actually, there's a couple people, including my next pick. But
you son of a bitch! He stole both of them.
But I don't doubt her ability in challenges at all. I don't doubt her ability to, how should I say, use the advantages to her advantage.
She proved that by getting voted out with an idol in her pocket. She sure did.
Hey, that's because May told her not to use it, I guess. Maybe just listen to yourself, Abby, on that. If you have the intuitive thought that you're getting voted out, just go ahead and play it. But I don't know. I kind of feel like she might get some assassin tokens, and she'd be the one to put them on somebody and make them get used.
I'll tell you what, that's something that I don't doubt a bit. That's something I love about Abby is at the end of the day, she's 5 feet of fury and she's her own person. She's going to do what is ultimately best for her. She doesn't buy into someone's bullshit. And ultimately, if everyone's voting this person because that's what the group wants to do, but it ain't best for Abby, she just knows in her gut that this other person should go. She's going to do what she wants to do. Because she's 5 feet of fury, she's Abby. But that's what puts a target on your back. It's like, this person's rogue. We got to get them out because we don't know where they're going to land. There is definitely more than one scenario where Abby sweeps the board and goes to the end.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also several scenarios where she doesn't because she's Abby Spalla.
Yeah, and we're getting down into the people now where, at this stage of the draft, it could really go either way.
Oh, for sure.
So
everyone you pick is a gamble. Some are more educated guesses than others.
Yeah.
And Abby's kind of a 50-50.
I feel like Abby is one of the more risk for reward players in this scenario too. She's one of the high risk, high reward players for sure. Whereas I feel like our first 2 or 3 picks were more safe, which is generally kind of the better player overall. 9 times out of 10. But I really think Abby has the ability to go far in the game and to close at the end. I think she's somebody that can convince a jury that she deserves to win.
Oh, for sure. Without a doubt, she can win if she gets to the end. It's just if she gets to the end is the issue. There's several ways where that target gets on her back. Nate, tell him how. Tell him. God, because I just...
Well, so my big thing with her is I feel similar to how you felt about Ronnie is how I feel about her. I think if she does not get voted out in the first or second tribal, I think she's going to be in the game for a long time. However, the question is, will she survive the first or second tribal? And that's the question for me. Because my thing is, I don't think that she is going to survive very long amongst this favorites cast. However, she is one of my favorites to do your scenario of being that favorite to go join a bunch of fans and just wreak havoc amongst the favorites while eating each other.
Oh yeah,
she is one of my major favorites to go do that.
Yeah, she has Sam on the other side. She has Thomas Olive on the other side, and you would think that Sam's friend would join that. However, I think that when merge happens, some of those people are going to be gone because Tyler and Allie are going to own that side of the camp. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Abby, and the point is, Abby, if you're listening to this and you don't win, I disown you.
Well, and she's got options too. You just named off all these people that she knows on the fans.
Oh, for sure.
She knows May. She knows Ronnie. She might not work with either of them. I think she would probably work with May more than Ronnie.
I think she's going to work with Jimmy too because she's familiar with Jimmy. All that they got to do is Abby, May, and Jimmy, then they scoop up a rando like Dingler or JJ. They got the majority. There they go. They stick it out till merge. She goes over to her other friends, Sam and Olive, whoever's left, and then she just tries to keep the numbers and go to the end from there, sort of thing. But even then, when everyone's looking around who's left in the game, they see Abby. How can Abby... She doesn't know how to tone it down. You know what I'm saying? She's so competitive, which is what I love about her, which is why she fits this game, But it is what it is. Sometimes you can't hide it because you're so passionate.
No, yeah, she's exciting to watch play. And, honestly, you can still win the game that way. I felt like my game was kind of out in the open like that too, But, if you're able to get there, then you get there and you can close it. And I think Abby can do that. I think I'm going to move on with my next pick, and I'm going to stick with the women theme because I really think this is a strong woman cast, even though there's only 4 of them in there. They're all strong.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So I'm going to go with Allie.
Yeah, I've already wrote it down, bastard.
Yeah. So Allie, her previous experiences in LRGs, she's never played a Survivor, so it'll be slightly different, but she has played both seasons of Big Brother that we've done. She didn't do too well in the first one. She's a very similar player to Abby in that she's so competitive and so outwardly competitive to everyone else that it puts a target on her back. And season 1 of Big Brother was like that for her. Season 2, she did better, and I honestly give some of the credit to her doing better to Ryan, because Ryan was really owning that game and really making sure that Allie was staying safe because she was one of the people that she knew would never turn on her. I think the same thing can happen this game. I think if Ryan and Allie get to a team together, people are going to have a hard time breaking that shit up. It's going to be so hard.
What did Allie place in Big Brother 2?
6th, I believe. 5th or 6th. out of 14.
I didn't know that she played Big Brother 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Allie fan. What up, girl? I think that she's going to do fantastic. She's definitely up there on my list to win as well. She's a force to be reckoned with. Got a lot of respect for her. Can't wait to see her play Survivor, dude. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm putting that all in one sentence. Allie McCoy is playing Survivor. Can't wait. But Allie's major Achilles heel is playing way too hard, too early, too fast. And everyone's like, hey, she's too hard of a player. Let's get her ass out. Mm-hmm. And that's just what I've foreseen. You know, like I've only met Allie and hung out with her and played one game with her like for half a day. So I can't talk too in depth about that. But you know who can? Someone who has seen her play much more. Like Nate Hodson. Go ahead and talk about her.
Well, I'm going to say for Allie, and it's actually somewhat out there, is I think that her greatest downfall for this game is relying on Ryan. I think that's been her downfall the first 2 games that she's relied on Ryan. I think she has the individual talent to win this game if she plays her game.
I do too, and she's getting to start out on a fans tribe where she
can
do just that.
She's going to start out on a different tribe, and also the theme of kind of how this game has been, built is
it rewards aggression,
and also it rewards maybe
playing
not
your own game,
your own game, and not relying on an ally.
Yeah, it rewards an individualistic gameplay style.
So I think while she doesn't necessarily have Survivor experience, she has LRG experience, which I think is a good component to win. I think that she is going to pull out some comp wins. If she makes merge, and I think I think she can build her building blocks on the fan tribe. As Cheston has mentioned, a very promising thing is her and Tyler say, hey, let's do this. If that happens, and if she can, not rely on Ryan for her game, she can have someone else to rely on to get to the end. It might be her game to win.
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance that happens. Is she's gonna make bonds and a strong alliance on the fan tribe. And when merge happens, if she's smart, she'll keep those alliance. And Ryan's just a bonus to that. But will she realize that? Who's to say?
Yeah, and there's not, and that's I think one of the worst things that Allie suffers from in a game perspective is people knowing how she is already, and she's not going to have that issue this time. Like no one on the fans tribe knows her. On the favorites, Ronnie kind of knows her. Ryan, obviously, they're great friends. And Thomas Dingler has seen her play a tiny bit. She really, her biggest weakness is almost, nullified in this style of game because her 2 biggest weaknesses, reliance on Ryan and, previous, whatever you want to say, just her persona, how she's perceived. Mm-hmm. So I think with that wraps up my pick. We can swing it back over to Cheston.
Well, now that you picked my 2 other picks, you bastard! I have to go with another dark horse. Someone that I think, out of the people mentioned, have the best chance to get to the end. And it's so tough. I think that Gabe has a good attitude, but I think he's going to be like Peyton in that he won't necessarily know what he's doing. So I'm going to have to go with a fave on this one. Someone, after speaking to them, has the attitude of, I don't care who I have to cut as long as it advances me further into the game. That's Thomas Dingler. I think Thomas Dingler isn't necessarily a stereotypical winner pick that you would instantly pick as, hey, that's the winner or whatever. He's not a front man. But he, especially after playing the first time, has an attitude of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. And like you guys have already said, this game specifically rewards that type of behavior of whenever you do what's best for you, you get rewarded for it. And when we get deeper into the game and there's loot boxes and stuff where you're giving away immunity and you get extra advantages and stuff and you just tell your alliance, hey guys, I did this for the alliance or whatever, no one's going to blame Thomas for that. He has this super go-lucky attitude where he can do crazy stuff like that and get away with it because it's just Thomas being Thomas. People like fall for that. But if somebody like Abby were to do that, they'd be like, she's too powerful. She feels comfortable. She gave up immunity. She just got an advantage. We got to get her out. But it's like, oh, it's just Thomas with an advantage. He's a funny guy. It's a class clown. Like, it's whatever. So I think for these reasons, people might not necessarily take Thomas as serious as the attitude that he's giving me, that he's going to be the serious player this time. And he could take it home.
And what I will say for Thomas as well, which I think gets overlooked, I have played 2 games with Thomas. Top 4 both times. Top 4 both times. Amongst groups of people that, for the most part, he didn't know a lot of faces there to go into the game. He adapted, and he found a way to find a path deep into the game. It wasn't because he'd get in these clusters, and he was always the last one that people wanted to vote out. And so he would be the one that snuck into 4 or 5, maybe not with allies with him, but he snuck in there. And who goes to say this time you let the guy sneak into 4 or 5, and he has 3 or 4 advantages just chilling and just blows everything up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the more chaotic players, so it's going to be fun regardless of what happens. Even if he's the first boot, it will be fun to watch him that first round. Because probably one of my favorite moments out of any game I've played or hosted or watched is a Thomas Dingler moment where he hid his plate during the plate challenge where you hide your plate and then other people have to try to find it, where he hid it in the top of the toilet. Not in the toilet, in the top of the toilet. And he ended up winning that challenge, and it was the funniest thing just watching him run in every time, check the top of the toilet, and make some kind of, gesture or something to us watching, and then continue on. And he wasn't even trying to find people's plates. He was just trying to make sure that no one found the toilet plate.
That's Thomas, man. He's a hilarious dude. People like to keep people around that make them feel good. That are a good time. Be like, man, I don't know if Thomas is on my side, but he sure is funny. I'll keep him, man. He makes me laugh. Like, Thomas, you better fucking win, boy. You better win. This Patron's hitting strong tonight. All right, Nate. Who the hell your third pick, girl?
Oh, man. Oh, this is where it gets kind of tough.
The middle.
And really, at this point, there's really only one person in here that I have played with at this point. And I'm just going to have to take him because it's really the only one I know that I can speak on.
Listen, you can't be like that to your boy.
So I'm taking Jimmy. But there is a reason why I'm taking Jimmy. I'm not just taking him because he's the only one I know. I am going to explain this. The thing about Jimmy, so we've talked about, this is a long string of connection. I think it's going to make sense whenever I get done with it. So we've talked about this favorite tribe. Kind of the big thing is we do think there's going to be 2 clusters of 3 that's going to be looking for a 4th.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's the fourth in
who's
both
that
scenarios.
4th going to be? Very likely Jimmy in a lot of scenarios.
I think we all can agree on that Jimmy he has no sweat on his ball sack about this starting tribe. Like,
absolutely not.
Abby does in a way, Ronnie does in a way, JJ could in a way, maybe Dingler or Ryan does in a way. But Jimmy and Melissa, not at all.
Exactly. And I think, if the faves are smart, early on, a lot of times, this is just how the game goes, is, it's the whole, we need to keep a strong tribe early so we don't have to go to tribal all the time. I don't think the faves are going to care. They've played this game. Or I don't think they should care. Maybe they will.
Yeah.
I don't think they should. And I think if that's the case, like, why would you want to get rid of Jimmy? It makes absolutely no sense for almost anyone's game early on to get rid of Jimmy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to.
Who is he threatening on the Faves tribe? Like,
exactly.
What person is going to? And I don't mean that in a bad way, Jimmy. I mean it in a very good way.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that quality in the early game of I'm not threatening.
He's also like Dingler in the way that he's funny.
Yes.
And he's lackadaisical, and he approaches the game as he doesn't appear that he's so serious. Mm-hmm. He approaches as if this is just a good time, and people are like, I want to work with that because I think that I can outthink them.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the perception that they want to give you, if that's the wall, the mask that they're wearing, they're the ones that's going to check you.
And I think also, and again, this is something that's going to sound like an insult, but it's not meant that way. And I think it's a pro. Is I think a lot of people sometimes they like see Jimmy and they're like, wow, this guy's an idiot. They just instantly are like, wow, this guy's an idiot. And Jimmy's actually super smart. Like when it comes to this game, he knows what he needs to do to get to the end. He really does.
I'll tell you, me and Jimmy, when we worked at the district, we had a lot of conversations about Survivor if we ever played a game together, and he at that point had didn't watch the show, never played, and he came up with some of the most brilliant stuff that I have ever heard somebody that knows nothing about the show come up with. Stuff that's so outside the box, but then when you think about it, you're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Why have I never thought about that?
And then you guys did play Survivor together.
Mm-hmm.
And
he got 4th.
Did he stick with you?
Well, we never really had a chance to get together. We were on opposite tribes the whole time.
But I'll tell you what, he did stick with Nate, though.
For sure, yeah.
He's a big Nate fan. He, loves you, dude. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Oh, dude, I love Jimmy to death. I would love to play with him again,
There
be
you
honest
go,
with
Jimmy.
you.
It's a bro shit.
100%.
He even said, when he showed up for Season 5 and, he wanted coordinating play or whatever, when he was considered to be in play, he was like, bro, if I was going to get to play, I was going to grab Nate. I was like, bro, Nate, are you ready to run this thing back again? He was going to take you and go to the end again, bro. That's how loyal Jimmy is.
And you know what? I would have done it. I would have agreed to it in a heartbeat.
There you go, Jimmy.
And even just to finish off my my pros for him going into this game is that I think that he's going to be kind of what we talked about, that neutral middle ground guy, which is kind of where you want to be, for the Faves tribe. Don't think he's going to be on anyone's radar early. And I think once, it gets muddled a little bit and he starts working with fans, he has a lot of connections with the fans tribe. And he's going to have potentially 5 or 6 numbers ready to go. And if he can make moves and push through, who knows that he doesn't go and win the game. Just mess around and win himself a ship. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So
no,
where do you guys foresee Jimmy landing? Because
placement-wise?
Well, in the early game, I believe that Jimmy is going to be the vote that both the Democratic Party and Republican Party want.
Yes.
The
targeted ginger.
The Republican and Democratic parties being Abby and Ronnie, in any way order that you want them to be. I think that Abby and Ronnie are both going to want to grab Jimmy, and Jimmy's going to have the most options, which in this game is the most important thing.
Yeah.
The more options you have, the better placement that you are in. And Jimmy will have all the options. So where do you guys think he's going to go?
Can I tell you what I want to see happen, whether it happens or not?
Yeah.
Is I want to see Thomas Dingler, Ryan Schussler, Jimmy, JJ. That's what I want to see.
Just spank the bottoms of all the Season 5.
That's what I want to see.
That's what I want to see too, but I think that the Season 5 people are just so good.
I agree.
That doesn't happen.
But just think about how fun that would be to whether strategic or not. Just think about how fun that'd be to watch. Just watch Dingler and Jimmy and JJ and Ryan just run around and just cause chaos.
I think I would cry if Abby, Ronnie, and Elisa were the first 3 votes.
I would too. I would too.
I think there's a good chance that's very possible, though. I think there's a good chance that Abby or Ronnie is the first one to get voted out. It's those 4.
I just don't know because, I have a feeling that, in particular with Dingler and JJ, they're going to get whatever their assassin name is, and they're going to be like, well, shit, I'm voting this assassin name.
I agree.
No matter what it is. They're going to be such rogue voters at the very beginning.
And then you have probably Abby and Melissa, or Abby and Jimmy sticking together. Then you have Ryan and Ronnie probably sticking together. So therefore, either Melissa or Jimmy's the swing vote, and they decide who goes first.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that again, the question is, where does Jimmy go?
Melissa and Jimmy as a final 2 would do really well, I think. I think they could go the distance.
Yeah, what if that's what happens, and then Melissa and Jimmy, maybe they side with Ryan and Ronnie, and then they just say Abby's easy first vote, it's whatever, ain't got to worry about it. But then what happens from there? That kind of puts them in a bad position. If they were smart, they would use Abby for her vote the first time, get rid of Ryan or Ronnie, and then flip right back and get rid of Abby.
Yeah, because they have the numbers to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. And the thing about Jimmy is it's going. I firmly believe this though. Is it's going to be the first person to go talk to Jimmy. Who's going to be that first person that realizes that Jimmy is important on this tribe and says, "I want Jimmy."
No, yeah. I mean, he's a loyal person for sure. He's proven that.
And I honestly could see that. Really, honestly, see that being Ryan or Ronnie early that goes to Jimmy. That's what I see.
Yeah, because
That's what their games are built off of.
Ryan ain't gonna go up to Abby.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll necessarily go up to Melissa.
Yeah.
So.
What if we see a Jimmy Ronnie thing? That might be fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be fun to watch.
I think Jimmy and anybody would be fun to watch.
Oh,
I
agree.
Like whoever he's with, like it's a fun pairing automatically. Especially on this Faves tribe, like stick him with anyone, they'll have fun.
Oh yeah.
Who is your next pick, Nate?
Oh man, this is where it gets tough.
It's coming down to it. A lot of these people you just don't know.
I just don't. You know, I haven't picked a fan. I'm gonna go pick a fan.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna pick Robbie Patchen.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Robbie Patchen. Just for the sole reasoning that.
He has a soul patch.
So I think a big thing.
He's a soul man.
Never again.
Oh.
I think a big thing going for Robbie Patchen is I think he is a very good chance he could be kind of the Maddie of this season, where it just kind of starts off like I don't really want to play. I'm kind of just here because I got begged on hands and knees to show up, but starts getting into it a little bit, starts seeing momentum happen, and be like, you know what, there's a place for me in this game. I can enjoy I'm here. I might as well enjoy it. And just turns on and has a game and makes it, you know, top 5, top 6. I don't know if I see him necessarily winning the game, but from what's left, I could see him having the best chance of being a top 5 or top 6, no doubt.
I agree with that. It all comes down to the amount of effort that Robbie puts into the game.
Mm-hmm.
He has what it takes to go far, more than he believes that he does. I understand that he doesn't necessarily like the social aspect of the game. I get that. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But he definitely is a competitor. Mm-hmm. He loves challenges. He won the Reindeers games. He's proven that he can be the best around when it comes to the challenges. So I don't worry about him holding his own when it comes to him versus Ryan or Abby or Melissa. I think that he'll definitely be a significant challenge, necessity for the fan side. But again, how much effort does he want to put into the game? If he goes to people and is open and can be the person that people can go to for conversation, then he'll last long in the game. Like that's what it all comes down to. Or he could, you know, like I said, be the person that's like, hey, we just lost. I'm out, guys. I was just here to be the 14th person to keep the numbers all even out. It's all up to Patchen at this point, so he's really up in the air.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest reason that I hadn't picked him yet was because I'm not sure what his effort's going to look like. I have no doubt that he has the ability. It's what is he going to want to do.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Patchen has an unfair advantage in this game? Because he works at a Chinese restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, China, Japan, they're right there together. Assassins, you know, that's kind of Oriental. So I don't know if, you know, Patchen might be on the DL. He might be apprenticing on how to be an assassin. So
And also,
He's going to be a ninja.
He does have, you know, some loose connections on the favorite side as well.
Oh, for sure. That's what the beauty of this is that everyone is at least loosely connected to one other person at least.
Also, I just had a funny thought. Have you guys ever seen the movie Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley?
I love Chris Farley, of course. He's my favorite comedian of all time.
Robbie Patchen. Not really, but just it'd be funny him being a ninja.
Don't ever insult Chris Farley like that again. Is that it? Is that all you gotta say, Nate?
You know, I think that is. I think
He makes one hell bed of rice, doesn't he?
I think Patchen is going to. I think he's gonna
Fortune cookie
he's
his
gonna
way out of
show
it.
up, and I think that, you know what, that's my prediction that he's going to be the Matty Harold this season, top 6.
All right, you've heard it here first, folks. My 4th overall draft pick goes to none other than Gabe Workman, someone that all you people freaking underestimated. Okay, Gabe, I think, is going to be the Peyton of the season, in that I don't think that he necessarily knows what he's doing, but he's damn well going to try. Mm-hmm. After speaking to Gabe a lot about the game, he's really excited to play. He's currently watching Winners at War. He's studying film. He's seeing what it takes to win. He's throwing out scenarios. He's doing all this stuff. Him and Tyler work together. Here's the beautiful caveat. Tyler doesn't know that Gabe is playing. Bro, he's gonna show up, and then Gabe's gonna show up, and Tyler's gonna be so thrown off. He's gonna be like, bro, what are you doing here? Because we told Tyler that Gabe isn't playing. So he has no idea. Gabe wants Tyler out because Tyler is so like overconfident. Tyler's like, I got this in the bag, whatever. I'm the complete circle. I'm the total package. I'm gonna go so far, so deep. Gabe's like, I'm gonna blindside him as soon as I can. But Gabe also realizes that might not be the best thing for him. He might need his vote. So Gabe is an open-minded player, which is what you want to be. You don't want to keep your friend in the game just because he's your friend. You want to keep him in the game because you need his vote. And then get rid of him when you have to. Super important thought process to have, and Gabe already has it. And this is his first game. I think that Gabe's state of mind right now is what Peyton's is now after Mystery Island. Gabe is ready to go out there, show what he can do, and he probably will make some mistakes. That's to be expected on the fans' tribe. They don't necessarily know what they're doing. There's going to be mistakes made on the favorites' tribe. You know, no one's perfect. But Gabe is willing to throw everything at a wall until something actually sticks.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be willing to do that when you're on the bottom, too.
Exactly. And like I said, I think that Gabe, Tyler, and Allie are going to be the 3 big powerhouses of the fans' tribe, especially in terms of challenges. I could really see them getting together. They just need to find that 4th person, maybe in Thomas Olive or Patchen, to get the majority of the votes, and I can really see them riding out together. So, and I think at the end of the day, Allie will probably go with Gabe over Tyler, is what I really think. Gabe is so much of he's just like a nice guy. Like, he's really, really easygoing, easy to talk to, very kind, very humble. And that type of personality is someone that you want to keep around because you just trust them more. And it's like, if this person beats me, I'm okay with it because they're a good guy. And that's dangerous ones to keep around. So we'll see what happens to Gabe.
All right. I don't know him, but, I mean, he sounds like he's got potential for sure. Mm-hmm. All right. We're down to the nitty-gritty. We've got 4 people left. I don't know any of them. I'm just going to be honest with you. So my best judgment is to make an educated guess from here on forward. So my 4th pick is going to be Sam.
Good pick.
I really, the main reason I say this is because Sam's coming into the game with for sure 1 friend. You know, we're being guaranteed 1 friend from Sam out of 2 possible people. That we're not sure who it will be yet.
Yeah, he's guaranteed that 1 friend plus Abby, his coworker.
Yeah, if they get to the same tribe.
And he also loosely knows Thomas Olive because they played Magic together, and he knows that Thomas Olive and Abby are good friends.
Okay, I forgot who Sam was. I remember now that we talked about the Magic thing. I did meet Sam once for like 5 minutes. He seemed like a super nice guy. I don't know anything about him strategically. I didn't get to play Magic with him. He actually left right as I showed up to play Magic. So
I have a recording of how he thinks strategically if you'd love to hear it. Let me tell you, he understands that at the end of the day, it is an individualistic game. That you have to do what's best for you. You have to gauge the situation. And if you have an inkling that your closest ally is going to betray you, then you got to get them first. Because at the end of the day, there's only 1 winner. His words, not mine, which is what you want to have. Great state of mind to be in for a fan. wonderful pick. But I really foresee, we've talked about how the dynamics could potentially play out for the favorites tribe, the pros tribe, the returning tribe. We talked about that. That's super up in the air. But let's talk about the dynamic of what the fans tribe could be. I really, 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 really see Tyler, Gabe, and Allie sticking together, but I also really see Sam, his friend, and Thomas Olive sticking together. Mm-hmm. So I have a clear 3-3 split here.
Which leaves Gabe in the middle.
Which leaves Patchen.
Patchen was... okay. Gabe was with
and if
Tyler
Patchen
and
bows out, we got a rock situation. Mm-hmm. Literally, Sam's friend, and Thomas Olive, that's Team Abby right there. Versus Allie, Tyler, Gabe, team, we're going to destroy you in competitions. I have no idea what's going to happen.
So you think potentially they lose first challenge, Patchens isn't wanting to stay in the game, he bows out, they lose again.
We could go to rocks.
Could be 3-3.
Yeah, for sure. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is a scenario.
Who gets targeted in that situation on both sides, do you think?
Allie or Tyler? I'm leaning more towards Tyler. I think there's a scenario where Gabe realizes this and he jumps ship and goes with Sam and gets out Tyler. Mm-hmm. And that also keeps him good another round where Allie's the next targeted over him. Mm-hmm. And
by that point, you're probably swapping or something. Mm-hmm.
So if Gabe realizes that, then he's good. And I think that he could. And I think that Allie could as well. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, man. I think there's also a scenario where Thomas Olive doesn't go with Sam and Sam's friend, even though they're loyal to Abby, he's loyal to Abby sort of thing. But I really think that Thomas Olive's going to do what's best for him. So I also think there's a scenario where Thomas Olive just goes with Tyler, Gabe, and Allie. Because he realizes in the later portion of the game, the merge, there are going to be 3 targets ahead of him. Like, there are going to be 3 people that's killing the competitions, and he can just pitch them as bigger threats than he is. Mm-hmm. So, the fans tribe, super up in the air. But at the end of the day, I foresee them sticking together more than the favorites.
I think it's possible. Yeah. You have anything to add? I know me and you both don't know the guy other than me meeting him once briefly, but...
Oh, it's...
Sam, you know Sam. You got a hand job from that one girl named Sam, right? That's all you know about Sam. All right. So...
We're just going to let that go.
Who's your 5th pick, Mason?
My 5th pick, and this is quite as simple as it gets. I'm picking, out of the 3 people here, the one person that's guaranteed to play, which is JJ. And that's... That and the fact that he's a returning player is pretty much the only reason why I can pick him over Colton or Cameron. JJ's definitely playing. I think that he's somebody that... I've never met JJ, but I've heard a lot about him from so many people, not just y'all, like other people have talked about him before and how chaotic he can be. And I think chaos, either in this style of game in particular, it either ruins your game or it makes your game because of the way that Assassin's Creed works.
Well, to quote Cole Copeland, who was quoting Game of Thrones, by the way, chaos is not a pit, it's a ladder. Mm-hmm. Meaning that there's more opportunities with chaos than there are hindrances. JJ, I love him to death. One of my oldest friends came to Christ with JJ, have a lot of great things to say about JJ. When it comes to Survivor, JJ's going to do what creates the most waves in the game. Mm-hmm.
It seems like every person that I've ever met that knows JJ says that's just how he is.
Yeah.
Like, he just likes to create chaos.
Yeah, so he's not necessarily going to be playing to win. He's not going to necessarily do what's most strategic or best for the majority. He's going to do what's going to create the most like drama and shock factor, which is going to keep this game on its toes. I do foresee him going rather quickly, maybe before the halfway point. So final 8 and upwards, I foresee JJ going, only because in this game you want stability, you want predictability. You want people that you know what they're going to do. And the fact that you don't know what JJ's going to do next scares the hell out of you. If he just throws a random vote and it's a tie vote and it's on you, he's the deciding vote, and now you're out of the game. You don't want that. So for these reasons, I think JJ's going to scare the living daylights out of people, and that's why people's going to vote him out.
And gosh, to that credit, to that thought of wavelengths, or not wavelengths, but just creating waves. I mean, we still have no idea. We have loose ideas, but we don't really have a concrete idea how this Fave tribe is going to flock. And he could ruin a big player's game early, which is a very fun. That's a very fun concept. I mean, it sucks for some of my picks, but like for example, like could you not see him randomly just getting out Ryan like first vote? Just be like, all right, cool, let's get out Ryan, or just randomly just knocking out Melissa or Abby just for the hell of it, just. Woo.
From the way people talk about him, I could see JJ and Thomas Dingler, for this matter, both of them doing this the same thing, where they literally look around at the Faves tribe and they go, okay, who's the strongest? Bang! They're gone.
No, they won't even do that. Like, this is what you can expect from JJ. If he survives one tribal council, he should have 3 assassin tokens, because he's going to be working his ass off getting the tokens. He's going to vote randomly to get the other token, and he might loot the body to get another token. Mm-hmm. Like, all he needs is one tribal. He will have the 3 assassin tokens needed to get the hit marker and place a bounty on someone's ass. And you're like, okay, whenever you place a bounty on someone, you want it to be the big dog. You want it to be Ronnie or Ryan or Melissa or Abby, someone that, is playing the game hard. He's probably going to just draw a name out of a hat, and it could land on Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's how JJ plays. That's what you expect when it comes to JJ. You don't know who it's going to land on. And you might be like, bro, that is the stupidest decision. You know damn good and well Abby's playing way harder than Jimmy. But that's how the game goes in JJ's mind. And expect it. I expect him to get a hit marker real quick.
Wasn't there something that he's done in the past that you were telling me about past Survivor?
Let me tell you, bitches, how Amanda Hendrickson won Survivor Season 2. It was the final tribal council, and it come down to it. And we got Amanda Hendrickson versus Bobby Cox in Survivor Season 2. 3 votes for Amanda to win. 3 votes for Bobby to win. We got a tie. It comes down to JJ's vote. He votes for Amanda to win. Amanda wins the game. Why does she win the game? So JJ can write her name down on a piece of paper and say the following joke to the camera. I'm voting for a man. Duh. And that's it. Amanda wins the game because of JJ. He strikes again. And now we're bringing that into the most crazy game where you don't know who to trust, who's on your side, who's going to flip because they got this advantage presented to them at any given time. JJ's in it. Y'all are all screwed. My last pick is Cameron Pretty because he's the only one out of Sam's friends that I've actually met. And I met Cameron Pretty for like 30 minutes at Applebee's while we was hanging out after a shift. I know that Cameron is Sam's roommate, and he also used to work with Abby. So he has more connections than Colton. Colton is just Sam's friend from Oklahoma City. So that's why Cameron Pretty gets the pick over Colton, because he knows one extra person, that being Abby. I have no idea where Cameron's mind is in the game, where it's at, where his strategy is, blah, 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 blah. I just know he's down to play. That's what matters. Cameron, you got my pick. There you go.
Well, damn, if I knew that he frequents Applebee's, I would have picked him over JJ.
Too late now, motherfuckers, my pick.
Because Survivor loves Applebee's.
Oh, bro, we Shark Tank it up in this bitch. And that means the final pick for Nate.
Is he the charisma of this season?
Nobody's the charisma. Charisma's the charisma of this season. Nate, you get Colton.
I get Colton.
So tell us what you think about this person you've never met.
I think that this guy...
You're wrong. Okay, so that concludes the draft. 5 people We all got them. All right, my 5 people better step the fuck up if you know what's good for you, or I might send you something in the mail.
At least tell us, what does Colton do? What do you know about him? Give us some slight info just in case he's... Do you know anything about him other than he's Sam's friend?
It was in Oklahoma City.
The end.
Okay, he's Sam's friend. If he plays, he's probably going to play with Sam.
And that's what I was going to say. You know what? He's my last pick. And you know what? He lives in Oklahoma City. He deals with more people on a daily basis than anybody else.
This is also what I know about Colton is I was like, Sam mentioned that he said, Cheston, if you need one other person to play the game, I got you. I was like, sure, I'll take advantage of that. And so he was like, okay, I got this friend named Colton. He's always down for random things. He's always down to just go out and have an adventure and just randomly travel or whatever on a whim's notice.
Sounds
he's
like Peyton.
He's like, I got this friend that would be down for something like this. I was like, okay, that's good enough for me. Someone that doesn't know a lot of people. That's what you want, Survivor. You want strangers to play. So he only knows Sam. I'll take the hit and cast someone that only knows one person. So that's Colton. Thank you so much for playing. I'm sorry we can't talk about you more in the podcast. Same for you, Mr. Cameron Pretty. We didn't get a chance to see where your head was at before this podcast happens. But whoever ends up playing, thank you so much for your time, for giving up a Saturday to come out, give a shot at Survivor. Maybe you won. Maybe you was ready for it, and we had no idea. And you got yourself $100 in your pocket. But we'll find out in, 12 days. We'll find out who the winner is. But that's about it.
Yep. Any last thoughts, Nate, before we close it out?
Excited to watch, excited to spectate, excited to be there, and I just ask that y'all put on a show for me.
Yep.
Nate, they're not lap dancers. Okay. But they're pretty close to it. If y'all don't put on a show for me and Nate, there's going to be some repercussions. We're expecting some unpredictability. That's what we're expecting. We're predicting some unpredictability.
I want to see a show too. Don't leave me out of the show showing.
You're so needy. Okay. And what do we got coming up next? All right, we got part 2 of season 6 coming up next, May 15th. Twist of Fate has a Vikings theme. The theme behind it is basically luck based. Put your hands in fate. Will it swing in your favor? Season 6 part 2 coming May 15th. Check it out.
So be looking forward to that, and even before that, be looking forward to some kind of post-game roundtable where all available production members will sit down, and we will definitely have the winner and maybe one or two others. It might get a little cluttered with 6 production members. So we'll just see about that, but we'll do something where we get the winner's thoughts, kind of give you guys a in-depth look at their game and what they were thinking at every step. It's really good to get those because I think they help you learn. Some of my best learning things with Survivor have just been listening to winners talk about what they were thinking at specific moments. And I think that's something that's going to be fun. No matter who wins, good luck to all of you, and we'll see you soon on March 27th.
Bye, beach.
Everybody, it's Mason here. I wanted to tag on this at the end of the podcast real quick just because we've had some changes in the cast. It is approximately an hour and a half before the game starts, and we've had a couple of people drop. Yesterday we found out that Jimmy wasn't going to be able to play because he has to work. So we got Peyton Brewer on, so he's going to be joining the Favorites tribe. So let's talk about what this changes. So first off, who gets better from Peyton being there? I would say Melissa benefits from Peyton the most. They probably will go to the end together if I know them as well as I think that I do. So it validates my winner pick in Melissa even more. I'm looking forward to seeing how far her and Peyton can go. I think it possibly helps Ronnie's game. I think it helps Ryan's game. And possibly Abby's, since Peyton played with Abby last season. I don't know whether they would work together or not. Peyton working with Ryan also helps Allie, because Allie and Ryan are going to be closely linked. So I think those are all the people it benefits. Everyone else, it probably hurts unless Peyton builds some new bonds and really wants to take some of those people further than the people that he knows. Peyton got 4th last season. He rode with Nate, Ronnie, and Dustin to the Final Four, where they then booted him as he was always the 4th guy in that alliance. So his biggest obstacle in the game is going to be that same thing. He's not an alliance leader, so he has to figure out where he's at on the totem pole and look ahead a few rounds and figure out, how do I get out from underneath this and put myself in a position where I'm not going to go at the Final Four, the Final 5. And Peyton's been doing a lot of studying on Survivor. He's watched Survivor's Heroes versus Villains and Survivor Cagayan since he played last. So he's done some studying. He's watched 2 of the best seasons and the 2 best winners in Survivor history win the game. So he's been learning, and I'm excited to see him play. We also have one additional person that's playing. I don't even know the guy's name, but Sam's friend was not able to play. So we started reaching out, trying to find somebody to replace whoever that was going to be on the fans tribe. And Abby was able to secure us a friend of hers that's never played before. Like I said, I don't know anything about him, but obviously this is going to hurt Sam's ranking where we previously had him, and it's going to help Abby's ranking. So takeaways from this: wherever we had everyone, Melissa goes up, Ronnie goes up, Ryan goes up, Allie goes up, Abby goes up, Sam goes down, and everyone else probably shifts down slightly. So honestly, there's a lot of people on the favorites tribe that this helps. There's a possibility that a big mega alliance might happen on the favorites tribe. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But thanks again, guys, for listening to the podcast, and we'll definitely be doing another one with whoever wins, and we'll see you there.